Shalom, this is Hakham Melech Ben Yaakov of Karaite Insights, and this is the first time that I'm coming to you since I'm back in New York. For the past 3.5 months, I've been traveling around the world with a person who's very, very close to me. And we went to Morocco, Spain, Portugal, back into Spain, southern France, then back into Spain, and then flew to Iceland, and we're in Iceland for a week. And saw parts of the world that I had not yet seen, and met a lot of interesting different people, saw a lot of different cultures, saw how people lived, saw to a certain degree what people's mentalities are, and was very, very happy to be away from the United States of America and from New York. And now that I'm back, I just have a lot of thoughts on what I've seen. While I was overseas, I decided to look at my trip back to New York, which is meant to be only temporary, because I can't stand this place. I can't stand the city. I can't stand this country. It's sick beyond belief. But I decided, while I had to be back here for a little while, to look at it as if I'm just an observer. I'm just going here. And hold on, I'm just gonna, excuse me for 1 second. Hi, I'm back. Okay, so I decided to just look at it as an observer. And I'm not gonna get involved. In the past, I made the mistake of, while I was here, kind of getting too involved in the politics, what's going on. I was checking Drudge Report every day and InfoWars every day and looking at all the different news and all this kind of stuff. And I realized that I'd wasted a lot of time on things that are not important, because ultimately, at the end of the day, I believe this city and this country are going to be completely destroyed by their enemies. This place, this city, this country have come to represent complete evil on planet Earth. And they don't seem to be repenting or in any way cognizant of their evil. And especially in New York City, maybe outside there's some kind of reawakening, as evidenced by the desire to, by the Trump movement and all of this kind of stuff. But within New York City, there doesn't seem to be, any kind of reawakening. The city seems to be completely given over to evil. And so what I decided when I'm back here is that I'm just going to be an observer. I'm not getting involved in the politics. I'm not following the news. I'll check the news once a day. I'm not going to take it seriously. I'm not going to take it to heart, because this country's temporary. This city's temporary. The only thing that's permanent is Israel, is the nation of Israel, is the land of Israel. And right now, with the current, Western leaning, postmodern liberal government of Israel, that also is heading for destruction, in my opinion. The only thing that will remain in the end is the way of Yehowah, the way of Torah, and the way of true Israel, and those who are loyal to Israel. So this city, this country is it's a fleeting moment in the blink of an eye of Yehowah, just as Greece was, just as Rome was. So I'm not going to take it too seriously. So I decided that when I come back here, I'm just going to be an observer. I'm just going to look around and see what I see. And it actually gives you a certain power to do this, because you're not involved. You're not emotionally involved. Like, okay, if I see an injustice being committed, if I can stop it, I certainly would. And if I can't, I'm just an observer. Okay, I'm just looking at it, an observer. Okay, if I see, like, one of the things I see all the time in the city is that I didn't see in Europe. When I was in Morocco and Europe, I literally barely ever saw police on pulling over people, giving tickets. All you come back to New York, all you see everywhere you go on the sides of the roads, the highways, police pulling over people. Why? For the money, obviously. That's all they want: the money and the power and the control, and to make people know that they are the masters and that the people are the slaves. Okay, so I want to tell about an experience that I had yesterday, which will kind of solidify what I've observed since I've been back here. Just an observer. It's like, I remember when we were growing up, or when I was growing up, this show Mork and Mindy. Mork just comes to the Earth to kind of observe, the strange inhabitants of planet Earth and report back to Orson. I'm just here to kind of observe and report back to whoever the hell wants to hear. So I had to take care of a traffic ticket that I had from a couple months ago, and so I had to go out to court in one of the suburbs in New York City. Doesn't matter where, it's irrelevant. And being just an observer gives you this certain power. You're not, again, like I said, you're not emotionally involved. You're not into the whole thing, so you could just kind of see it as if you're a scientist, like watching the whole thing go on around you without letting it affect you. When you're emotionally involved, you get dragged into it. You get brought into it, and now you're affected, and now you can't see it objectively. So I wasn't, as I might have been in the past, emotionally involved or angry or upset. Just observing. I'm just going there to observe. What I saw was something so bizarre that it really almost shocked me. I'd never been able to see it before because I was in it. Now I'm outside of it looking in, and I was able to see it. And what I saw was that the court, the whole setup of the court was basically it was show. It was I don't know how to explain it. I'll try to. It was basically like a Broadway show put on with certain, you have to go through it. There's a certain process, almost like going through a conveyor belt, and the end result is paying the money. That's it. At the end, you have the cashiers lined up, and that's all they wanted in the beginning. See, if they were honest, the whole thing would be just walk in, there are the cashiers, we want your money, give us your money. That's all we ever wanted to begin with, and now go home. But they have to put on this show to basically process. It's like processing meat, or it's like processing I don't know, any kind of product. They have to put it in an assembly line, dice it, slice it, chop it up, mush it, blah blah blah, and when it comes out the other end, then it's the final product is, okay, now pay. All right, so what do I mean by this? Maybe I'm being a little bit vague, but I'll try to explain it. Okay, so the first thing when you walk in is you notice that they have police officers, most of whom are very mean. There are a couple of nice ones, but they're shouting. It almost reminded me of Auschwitz, a concentration camp. Move here, move left, move right, blah blah blah. The first thing you go through a metal detector. Right, the very essence of going through a metal detector, where you're probed and examined and and touched and picked apart. They're showing you that they're the master and you are the slave. Okay, they are the boss, and you are your place here. You are the submissive, you are the submissive passive object in this place. So immediately the power structure set up. Okay, you're the boss. They're the boss. You're the slave. It's like going into a concentration camp, like Auschwitz. Like the first thing they do is they send the dogs at you and all this kind of stuff. I literally was thinking to myself, wow, where are the dogs? There should be dogs here, to immediately beat you into submission and show you who's the boss and who's not. All right. And then the next thing they do is they make you line up and they take your ID. Okay, one by one they take your ID, and so now you're stripped of your ID. Okay, that's secondary. Then the next thing they do is they call you, right? So there's this really big burly police officer, remind me of an SS kind of guy, like a Nazi almost. And he says, next 10, 10, move left, move right, 10, come in. All right, so now they're yelling at you, they're shouting at you. You can't say anything, right? Because, if you do, then, who knows what will happen. Maybe they'll arrest you and you'll go to jail and all this kind of stuff. So now they're processing you, right? They're yelling at you. They've already dehumanized you. They've already taken your ID away from you. They've already put you through the metal detector. They've already set up the power structure. They're the master, you are the slave. They're the dominant ones, you are the completely submissive ones. So now you're already, it's like, I guess it's like when a interrogator wants to weaken his the one he's interrogating. They break you down. So they're trying to break you down. So now you're more psychologically receptive to to what they're going to do to you. And what are they going to do to you? They're going to basically intimidate you into paying money. Okay, so now you're in the courtroom and it looks all official, and you have a flag here and a seal here, and I'm looking, and I'm like, this is just props. This is bullshit. This is all props. These are all props that are basically designed to make you think the whole thing is lawful and official, and basically to kind of conflate it with God himself, so that when they make their verdict whatever it is, that you think it is God himself that's making their verdict. They want to hide the fact that all they want from you is the money. So what they do is they they pretend, they clothe it in this artificial kind of facade of justice and honor, and here's the symbol of this, and the symbol of this county, and the symbol of that county, and the flag of the United States, and it all looks so official. Anyway, the next thing they do after that is now they get down to business, all right? And when I say business, I mean business like monetary business, okay? They call you up. There's a whole row of prosecutors, and the prosecutors are also very condescending, and and they use a certain amount of fear and intimidation. Like at one point, I was standing across the prosecutor. I just picked up some papers that had to do with my case, and he said, "Oh, what are you doing? You taking charge of my papers? Oh, you don't want to go to jail." And he was like kind of like half joking, but he was using that as a method of intimidation. I wasn't intimidated in the least, because I was like looking at the whole thing as a complete farce to begin with. But now you have all the prosecutors lined up, and now the poor, submissive, concentration camp prisoners who have now been softened up, and psychologically weakened, and they're in the lair of the enemy, and now they give you what they want. So now the prosecutor says, "Oh, well, you were supposed to get 5 points off your license and a $500 fine, but we're going to give you a break. We'll just give you no points off your license and $250. And invariably, what they want is, they don't want the points off the license, because if people stop driving, they can't get more money out of them. What they want is the money. So they'll reduce the points to 0 or to very few points, and then they'll say what they really want, which is the money. Now, why are they doing this? Because they need to process a lot of people. Okay, in order for the alternative, if people are there, if they don't accept the deal, the plea bargain, then they have to go to court, and going to court, that requires a judge, and that requires stenographers and court reporters, and it's a whole big production. It takes a lot of time. There's a trial. They have to bring the police officer. So it costs them more money and resources. So what do they really want? They really just want the money. So they just go straight for the money. They say, okay, we'll give you 0 points and a $250 fine. That's what they really wanted all along, was the $250. But now they're playing at the same time, using intimidation, and same time using all these symbols with the fake seal and the so-called flag, and everything looks official and just. And if you were not observing, you would think like it represented justice and God himself. But now they tell you what they really want, which is the money. Okay, so I just went for that, of course, because I'm just an observer. I'm not getting involved. There's no right or wrong here. I mean, it's all wrong. But so I signed the deal. Okay. And now the next thing they do after you sign the deal, it still has to be approved by a judge, okay? So once you sign the deal, now they lead you into this room, and there's the judge, okay? And he's sitting there in a robe, and he looks all official, and he looks all holy, and I'm sure he believes in his own mind he's doing, he's adjudicating right from wrong. And you have, again, the symbols, the flag, and the symbol of the county, and the symbol of the city, and all the symbols, and you have stenographers, court stenographers typing away, and the laptops going, and the camera there, and it looks so official, like the whole. It's a gag. It's a Hollywood movie. It's a Broadway play, but it's made to look official so that you believe, and that they believe, that they are actually administering justice, that they're actually administering right from wrong, rather than just stealing money out of your pocket, which is really what they're just doing. And so it's a whole facade. And the judge is also very condescending. He calls you by your last name, Ben Yaakov. Not Mr. Ben Yaakov, not anything, no respect, Ben Yaakov, and then you have to stand. So you're standing before him, and he's sitting, just like, and he doesn't even look you in the eye. He's just processing one after the other, so he's establishing again that he is the Nazi, the SS guard, and you are the prisoner. You're the Jew. I mean, it could be Jews, whoever was there. There were black people, Indians, but I'm just saying it as the analogy. You are the lowly, submissive individual in this situation, but it's okay because it's all justice and it's all right because you have the symbols there and you have the court stenographer. And I felt like it was a bunch of children, kindergarten children, basically playing court. Is basically what it was. It was a giant show. It was a giant Broadway show. It was a giant facade. Okay. Anyway. So now the judge approves it. Your violation 1203A has been reduced to 1125B, and blah, 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 blah. And here you have to do this and that and the other. And no points, and here's the fine. And so that's it. Now you get to go, okay? And now here's the money shot. And I mean that figuratively and literally. So now you've gone through this whole processing, you've been softened up, you've been chopped and diced and put through this whole assembly line, and now you get out of the courtroom, and now there's the money shot, quite literally. What do you have right when you walk up out of the courtroom? Before you leave the exit, you have to pass through the row of cashiers. Okay, there's the cashiers. There's like 5 cashiers lined up, and there are lines at each cashier. They're all paying the money. That's what they wanted all along, the money. It's literally the money shot, okay? The whole thing is just like they put you through the assembly line to give it the facade, the fake Broadway play, Hollywood vision, as if it's, or Hollywood image, as if it has to do with justice and right from wrong and God and for the safety of the public, for public safety and all this kind of stuff. And really all they wanted along was that damn money. And there it is. There's the 5 cashiers, 5 of them. And there's lines at each one, and each person is paying his money, and then once you pay the money, then that's it. The show's over, and you just walk out the door and leave. So there's nothing after that, right? That's it. That's literally the money shot. Okay, that's the climax, so to speak, the denouement. That's the whole point of why they wanted you there in the first place, was the money. Okay, it reminds me of, and that you actually have to walk like past the cashiers in order to get out. It reminds me of when I was in some of these foreign airports in various countries, and you actually, in order to go from when you get out of the airplane, in order to go from the terminal to the baggage claim area, they make you walk through duty-free stores. Okay, so you're there, you're just off the plane, and now you want to go get your baggage, or getting on the plane or going to the terminal, either way. And there they take you through like a path through duty-free stores. There's the liquor over here, and the cigarettes over here, and there's the chocolate over here, and the overpriced gifts that say whatever on it, Spain or Portugal or Iceland, and that costs like $30, and were probably produced in China for like 2 cents. And you have to literally walk through this path, in order to get from the terminal to the baggage claim area. So that's exactly what it reminded me of. After you get out of the court, in order to get to the exit, you have to walk through the cashiers, because what do they want? They want the money. That's all they ever wanted. So and if they were honest, the whole thing would have been, let's cut the BS and save everybody time. It would have been a little room. You walk in, and there are 5 cashiers lined up there, and they just say to you, listen, all we want is your money. Let's cut the farce on both sides. Just give us $250 and you can go home. But they have to put you through this whole process with the actors. Everybody looked like actors and props, and they all played like these paradigmatic or archetypal parts, like the judge is playing the part of the judge, and the court stenographer the part, and the prosecutor. They all look the part, and they don't even realize that they're not even individual human beings. They're not even human beings. What they are just these like archetypes, these paradigms, these actors that are playing a role, and they take themselves so seriously that they don't, it's like method acting. They take themselves so seriously, they don't even realize that it's all a show, and it's all being directed, and they, by some, whoever, worked the whole system out, and that they're basically these actors in a giant show, each playing their part. Like the judge dresses the right way, and the prosecutors act and talk the right way, like they're tough, but at the same time they're ready to cut a bargain, and the court stenographers with the, like the little, the glasses from the 1960s, and blah, 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 typing away. And the whole thing is just a giant Hollywood movie. It's just a giant Broadway show put on for the sake of one thing and one thing only, the thing that the United States is based on, the thing that New York City, the most evil city on planet Earth, the most sick, deranged, mentally ill city I've ever seen on planet Earth, it's based on, and that's one thing and one thing only: the money. Because that is their sick religion. Profits are their religion. Money is their religion. They don't care who they hurt on the way. They don't care who is destroyed. They don't care who's homeless, who's poor, who's mentally ill. Just give me the money. That's what they want. And everything else surrounds their cult, their religion of money and materialism. Justice is secondary. Police are secondary. Right and wrong is secondary. People's health are secondary. People's mental health is secondary. People's very living and homes are secondary. Everything is secondary. Just money is the God, the religion, the very essence of existence of this sick, deranged, mentally ill, city and country whose time at this point is very, very limited. This has been Hakham Melech Ben Yaakov of Karaite Insights. Thank God I'm an Israelite. Thank God I'm a follower of Yehowah. Thank God I'm a follower of the true Torah. And I have no part of this, want no part of this. And God will take his revenge on this nation when and how he sees fit. I will not be involved in it. I have no reason to be involved in it. But thank God I am an Israelite. Thank God I have the Torah. Thank God I have Yehowah. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. And talk to you soon.